Hello and welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons, the weekly podcast that revisits, reviews, and ridicules some of the world's weirdest animated shows. I am your ambassador to Townsville and will be your host, Sean Paul Ellis. Joining me tonight and recent transplant from Citiesville, I am joined by my guest, Melanie Harker.
Hi there.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, hey there. Hi there, howdy ho there.
Where were you a transplant from Citiesville?
Wait, where in Citiesville?
I'm going to say you came from Citiesville by way of what?
Oh, by way of covered wagon there, you know what I mean?
She's on the Oregon Trail.
I don't do accents.
She's currently dying of dysentery.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had some Snickers pie and it just all went to pot. So.
And Melody has too many glasses of wine.
And the other voice that you can hear is the secret ingredient in our Chemical X, co-producer and resident director of New Sass Productions, co-founder of Gooseberry Productions, local freelance director and actor, Angela K. Perko. Welcome to the show, Angie. How are you doing?
I am doing just fine. How are you doing?
Well, excellent. I'm doing well, thanks.
Good.
If you are unable to tell from Townsville, Citiesville, and Chemical X what show we are talking about this evening, we are going to be discussing Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff!
Oh, the theme songs on this, I can't wait to talk about.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's wonderful.
That's
wonderful.
one of the best parts of the show.
Yeah. So I am going to jump into a little bit of history and turn it over then to Melanie to kind of give us an overview of the show. So Powerpuff Girls is an American animated television series created by animator Craig McCracken and produced by Cartoon Network Studios for the Cartoon Network. The show centers on Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup, three girls with superpowers, as well as their father, a brainy scientist, Professor Utonium, who all live in the fictional city of Townsville, USA. The girls are frequently called upon by the town's childlike and naive mayor to help fight nearby criminals using their powers.
That is a generous description.
That is, that's kind. That's very kind.
You can thank the lovely editors at Wikipedia. McCracken originally developed the show in 1992, so this will be this 1992 date. Put a feather in your cap on this.
I was so young.
I know. 1992 as a short that was entitled Whoop Ass Stew, while in his second year at Cal Art.
What, that name didn't stick?
Yeah. Cartoon Network was like, we love the name, but can you change every other aspect of the show? Following the name change, Cartoon Network featured the first Powerpuff Girls pilot in its animated showcase program that was called World Premiere Tunes in 95 and 96. The series made its official debut on the Cartoon Network November 18th, 1998, and the final episode airing March 25th, 2005. We had a total of 78 episodes that were aired in addition to 2 shorts, a Christmas special, and a feature film.
Which I am unashamed to say I saw in theaters.
Did you really?
I did.
Nice. I'm jealous.
I'm jealous too.
It was good times. Good times.
In addition, a 10th anniversary special was made in 2008. A CGI special was also made in 2014, so last year, and that was without McCracken's input, which kind of has been a Cartoon Network running problem that they've had with
faux pas.
With faux pas, I will say that definitely. With how they've handled potential reboots for this series. The series has been nominated for 6 Emmy Awards, 9 Annie Awards, which are awards that they only usually give out to orphan children.
And redheads with dogs.
And Kivanzani.
Oh, this is good. This is pretty good.
The show was also nominated for a Kids' Choice Award, which is odd that it was only nominated for 1. The spin-off media included anime, 3 CD soundtracks. Yeah. There's actually the anime is called Powerpuff Girls Z.
Really?
Of course it is.
If you've never seen it, it is crazy fantastic.
Know what? I feel like I have seen it now that I really think about it.
I have not, but I know exactly what I'm going to do when I go home.
Yeah. All of the episodes of this are on YouTube.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes. So there were 3 CD soundtracks that came out of this, a home video collection, and a series of video games as well, and a bunch of other licensed merchandise.
Christmas toys.
So many plushies.
I had Powerpuff Girl Christmas tree ornaments.
Nice.
I had all 3 of them.
All 3 of them?
Yeah.
Did you put them like, did you group them near one another on the tree?
Oh, no, you can't do that.
No?
No, that's tacky.
He was always Buttercup on the upper tier, Blossom in the middle tier, Bubbles on the bottom tier.
Okay.
Was that like an order of preference, or was that just kind of more of a stylistic aesthetic choice?
I don't want to make the other ones jealous of each other, but it was order.
You don't want to induce jealousy in these fictional cartoon characters, right?
Yeah,
That is not even fictional cartoon characters, but actually like inanimate objects representing these fictional cartoon characters.
These 2D representations of fictitious things. You don't want to incite any jealousy of them.
I was a sensitive child.
You can imagine the Powerpuff Girls around a Christmas tree, though. They'd light that shit up.
They would. It's true.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is great. So the series received generally, which I think that's an understatement, positive reviews and receptions.
What?
And it also won 4 major awards. I almost said like in the 1900s. I apologize. None of us were people back then.
What year is it?
You're back to the covered wagons.
I'll jump back. In the 1900s, none of us were people. We were all just glimmers in other people's eyes that had not even yet been born.
Yep, not even.
So we don't have to worry about that.
Nope.
But the interesting thing is that June 16th of last year, 2014, Cartoon Network announced the series was going to be rebooted for some time next year in 2016. And the reason that I said that in 2014 when the CGI special was made that they didn't include Craig McCracken, the original creator's input, was that none of the original voice cast is going to be joining the Powerpuff Girls.
No, but Tara
reboot.
Davis.
No,
my queen.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's,
No, not okay.
Nope.
It was interesting because this has been a recent Twitter kind of extravaganza that they've had where I think was it Tara Strong or
Was it Tara Strong? Now I feel like an asshole.
No. I don't remember. I think it was Tara Strong or E.G. Davis.
Sorry, folks. I'm like 3 drinks of wine in. And names no longer matter. But no, Tara. I just know her as Twilight Sparkle at this point. So you know.
Getting ahead
I'm
of
glad
ourselves.
I'm glad that you're on the familiar name with Miss Strong.
No, but I think, Sean, you're right. It was Tara Strong who voices Bubbles that started kicking up the shit about the fact that they did not ask the original voice cast to be a part of the reboot. And the reboot is, we're not really talking about the reboot, obviously, in this episode. But
we will next year.
Next year, maybe.
And they will get a scathing review.
Oh, the blood will flow.
But there are these, 3 sweet-faced, they look like 12-year-old girls who are, legitimately little girls. I mean, they're not kindergartners. They're not going to Pokey-Oaks or anything. But, as opposed to these women, the women who voiced Powerpuff Girls originally were, in their, 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
Okay. No, all right. I see the validity of that choice. At the same time, Tara, my queen.
I know.
Tara, I'm so sorry, Tara.
And we will get into her when we get a chance to talk about these characters because she is a well-noted voice actress and she is fantastic. But I'm going to turn it over to Mel.
They all are. I mean, they all are.
Yeah,
sorry, other ladies, but Tara, I love you.
Sorry, E.G. Daly and Kathy Cavadini.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I am going to turn this over to Mel to kind of give us an overview synopsis of this show.
Oh, an overview. This is my first one, so
Oh,
I don't want to mess it up.
Well,
guys.
yeah, don't fuck it up.
I'm gonna try not to. So as Sean mentioned, the Powerpuff Girls revolves around the adventures of these 3 adorable little children, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. They each have a color of their own. Blossom is the pink one, who's not drinking wine. Oh boy. Blossom is the pink one. Bubbles is the blue one, and Buttercup is the green one, who's the best, clearly. The plot of a typical episode is some humorous variation of the standard superhero and the, I have this word, tokusatsu fare. So tokusatsu, for people who are inept like myself, will know that it is a Japanese term for live-action film or TV dramas that use a considerable amount of special effects. In fact, the word tokusatsu means special filming, right?
I think you're being tough. I don't think they're inept. I think maybe these people just haven't clicked a link on Wikipedia and further reviewed an article.
I'm sure there are some film buffs.
Now we know.
There are some film buffs listening to this podcast.
No. I just, the NBC star just streaked across my head. The more you know.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna. That's fantastic. Well, and then to keep feeding the no, some things that fall into this category are stuff like Godzilla, but then also Americanized, like say Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
I was gonna say,
right?
yeah,
Crazy.
Or those VR troopers or those Beetleborgs.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Beetleborgs.
So you've got this weird combination of genres with the girls using their power to defend their town from villains and giganto monsters, right? In addition, the girls have to deal with normal issues young children face, like sibling rivalry, loose teeth, personal hygiene, going to bed, bedwetting, or dependence on a security blanket, which is my personal foible as a child. Episodes often contain more or less hidden references to older pop culture, most notably an episode that we watched called Meet the Beatles, which is an homage to, wait for it, the Beatles.
The Oasis band. What?
It's Chicago, right? It's Chicago.
The musical, right?
Oh, God.
He had it coming.
Oh, God. The cartoon always tries to keep different ideas within each episode with some small tributes and parodies thrown in, which you will see, and it's punlicious. These episodes are just punlicious. They are full of alliteration and loveliness.
Yeah, oh, they're so beautiful.
Well, I have to ask, do you have memories of watching this show? Did you watch this when it was on the air? Any specific memories that kind of have come to mind when you were watching said show?
Oh, heavens, yes.
Things that you enjoyed?
You want to go first? You take it.
Oh, sure.
Go, baby, go.
All right. I watched this religiously with my whole family. We all loved the Powerpuff Girls. When I told them I was going to be doing a Saturday morning cartoons episode, they were like, "Oh, this is the one we'll listen to." And I was like, "Cool, thanks,
this is the one we saw them on. Good.
Thanks, parents.
Good.
Don't go listen to Gargoyles." No, I'm just kidding.
I like that episode.
You should. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
So I watched this show religiously as a child, and it was interesting because I was, and hate to use this term, but I can't think of a better one. I was much a tomboy as a child.
What? High five. Yeah.
And I grew up a single, an only child, a single child.
Single child.
I was not married off at birth.
Single children.
Yeah, I was like, no, I was an only child, and I was hanging around with lots of dudes that lived around the block, and there were just lots of little boys that were my age, and we would all like play video games and hang out together. And here was a show with a female, with a young female role model who was like super sassy, kicking butt. And they were doing all the things that anybody could do, and they didn't give a crap. And I was like, oh, that's totally me. In fact, fun fact, this is how green became my favorite color, was because I loved Buttercup so much that I was like, green is my color now. And now it's been that way ever since.
So it's not just because it matches your eyes.
Oh. Like this.
We should also mention, for people who obviously cannot see since this is an audio podcast, Melanie is draped in green right now.
I am draped.
Literally covered. She looks like a woodland elf. It's not even funny.
When we began recording, we had to go outside and summon her from inside of a tree trunk.
Yep.
And
we bribed her down with Lembus.
Oh, now you all know my secret.
We all got it. Oh,
Dude,
so Angie,
that's me.
No. So I wanted to ask Angie, did you watch the show? Did you have any fond memories?
Oh gosh, I have many memories of this show. So many memories. The Beatles was super influential. I just thought it was incredibly clever, especially when I got older and rewatched it and realized just how smart it was. The other one that there were a couple that really imprinted on me. I want to say there was the one, I forget what the title of it is now, but the one about like sort of the female villain who like misuses feminism like to get her way, and then like a bunch of the other female characters come forward and it's like, no, this is what feminism really is, and I loved that when I was a kid. But I feel like the fact that I watched this and Sailor Moon religiously when I was a kid is hugely a part of why I am the adult that I am, because I got to like my teenage years. I was like, wait a minute, what happened? Like all my TV shows, all of a sudden I was like, what's with all the dudes in my media? I literally was like, where are all my female centric like butt ass kicking shows?
That's funny you say that, because I basically went from Powerpuff Girls, Sailor Moon to Charmed.
Okay, right? Yeah.
And
No, Buffy. Buffy was my next one. Like, yeah, it was.
I missed Buffy, but I definitely was like,
baby.
You know, that was my wow. You like very.
We have similar tracks.
We do have similar tracks.
This is why we're connected.
This is why we're sharing a mic right now.
In more ways than one.
In more ways than one.
But
but that's really interesting that you say that, because I'm trying to think. And I watched like X-Men, the animated series, as a kid.
Yeah, and there were strong females in that too. But what stands out to me about Sailor Moon and Powerpuff Girls is the fact that they were allowed to be incredibly feminine and still kicked ass. Like, it was like short skirts. It was unapologetically pink. I still remember my favorite character was either Usagi or Serena, depending on, what version you read. And the fact that she was a crybaby and she was a wimp. I loved it. I was like, the fact that she was all these things that we frankly consider stereotypically feminine in our culture.
Yeah.
And weak
and whatever.
Yeah, but the fact that she
vulnerable.
killed. Yeah, she was vulnerable. She was allowed to be a young woman. She was allowed to be a girl and a girly girl and still like fucking kicked ass.
Yeah.
So that and and my favorite Powerpuff Girl is Blossom, who, the leader and smart and all that and wears pink. And those are the characters I loved. And that's what I really identified with growing up, was the fact that you could completely like slaughter and still be like, that's
no. I mean, you could
as
still,
an adult,
and you could kick ass, but you could remain a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You could remain
exactly so.
Those specific things that are that are particular and that are so often stereotyped in media. Exactly. About women, but it embraced those ideas.
Yeah.
It also embraced the idea of just kicking butt.
Exactly so. And I'm gonna restrain my. I got into a very interesting discussion on Facebook the other day. Of course, the place for educated discussion. Right? Brace yourselves. It's like I said, in a comment on a news article, I got into a debate. I got into a really interesting discussion about what makes a strong woman, and someone was basing the argument about like you can't. It was actually this argument of like you can't dislike guns and like dislike Ripley and Sarah Connor because guns are part of what, part of their character. And I was like, no, the reason why they're strong women is not because they wield guns. The reason why they're strong women is inherently part of their character and who they are as people. And that's a part of these characters, is like, it is who they are and the choices they make. That's what make them strong women characters.
Yeah.
So, and then, and I'm gonna put the button on that rant right now. So there we go.
I'm gonna take that button off again in a little bit. That's a good button. That's a good button to have.
I want to be incited later on.
So Sean, did you have a memory of watching this when you were a little girl?
What is your memory?
When I was a little girl, when this show premiered in '98, I did not have Cartoon Network. Mm-hmm. I didn't have Cartoon Network until the following year when I started college, and I watched Powerpuff Girls all the time. There were these blocks of cartoon, and this was, I think, in my mind, what sort of solidified this cartoon, along with a lot of the other things that were in a lot of the other Cartoon Network programming for me, was that the Dexter's Laboratory, the Jenny Jatarsky, the Craig McCracken for Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, all of these shows that were on, and then there was like an hour block of Dragon Ball Z following it, and I would watch 3 hours of cartoons. I would finish my class. I think I had a bio class, and I would come home and I would just sit down in my residence hall and just turn this on, and I could not have been more excited. This became something could have happened that could have been stereotypically college. Like, people would have been like, hey, you want to go like hang out at the quad or like go play hacky sack or go do something cool? And I'd be like, nah, I got a date. Like, I got a date in front of a TV with some cartoons.
I gotta go see Three Little Girls.
Ooh, I'm gonna say that I would have probably worked on the phrasing with that one.
Phrasing, are we still doing that?
Yeah, we're still doing it, Lana.
This is where I hear Dave Trumbore's voice that says, Sean, really, you're not gonna get sexy with this? Really? This is the first time?
Back away from the mic. Back away.
We are excited to have Dave at Comic-Con in San Diego right now. So he is having a blast. So speaking of a blast, I wanted to mention one of the things that I loved about this show that really kind of pulled me in from the beginning was the theme song. Oh. I love this theme song. Now, we have the lyrics here. was there anything that when you heard it that you just could not, that you just kind of like, anything that kind of hit that fever pitch for you where you're like, yes, like that really kind of gets you going?
Chemical X.
I know, that's what it was for me.
Right?
Yeah. It was the idea of him as he's stirring this cauldron.
Yeah.
And he knocks it with like the end
of the stir.
Yeah, of the whatever stirring.
Whatever scientific mumbo jumbo thing.
I want to put a hold on this because, first of all, let's talk about layout right now. Professor X, if you are an experienced scientist, why are you keeping...
He is not that good a scientist,
why are you keeping, like, a mysterious chemical, which you don't know what it does or what it is, in your laboratory, in a test tube, above a... hanging above a cauldron?
Yeah, it'd be one thing if he had, like, a small lab. Like, that would be understandable. But that place is enormous. It's like,
pretty large.
It's a huge basement under the house. Yeah, he has no excuse.
No, he has no excuse.
He's got a Dexter's Lab style laboratory.
Yeah. Laboratory. Yeah, no, it's shoddy professionalism.
It really is.
Yeah.
But sort of like the crazy moments that we've had in history where we've been kind of targeting maybe one scientific discovery, but we found and we created something else, like silly putty or peanut butter or sonar.
Listen, okay, sonar.
So Powerpuff Girls are on the level of sonar.
Yeah,
I'm going to say that they're actually the top of the chain.
I would agree.
If we're creating people that are superpowered,
yeah, absolutely.
Problem solved on that.
It's the next step above in vitro fertilization.
Nick Fury wishes he could pull this shit. Like, come on.
This is actually what Agent Coulson was shot with.
She was shot
after
for,
he died.
Yeah. Yes, so. Chemical X. Chemical X was actually in Steve's. That's a good.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
This is what was in Steve Rogers.
It's the same serum, you guys. You figured it out.
Somebody write a fanfic about
Somebody make this happen. Years and years of superheroes literally coming from this one chemical.
Marvel, let's get on a crossover.
Marvel, come on, Marvel. The time is now.
So you're talking
Phase 4 of Marvel Cinematic Universe.
After Guardians of the Galaxy 5.
After we've squeezed everything that we can out of Chris Pratt.
They can squeeze as much out of Chris Pratt as they want. I'm okay with it.
So, Sean, back to your question about fever pitch and songs.
Yes.
I want to know where you're going.
I think the part of the song that makes me the most like, yes, is the very end. So a lot of it is not lyricized, right? It's just like music. Dun, 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 dun. So it's the very end where it's like, and then they're just like, it's like they're on top of a pile of bodies.
Of bloody, like beat up, bruised villains.
And as a child, all I thought of was that, I don't want to get the band wrong, but it's like, let the bodies hit the floor.
Right. It was Drowning Pool.
It was a Drowning Pool? I was going to
say. And this will be another Dave shout out. Do you know how I know that it's Drowning Pool?
How do you know it's
Because Dave won a signed guitar by the lead singer of Drowning Pool.
God.
And I drove him to the radio station to pick it up.
That's such a beautiful story.
This is just us in college.
It comes full circle.
It comes full circle.
So we have for the theme song, we have Professor Utonium. We have the narrator.
The narrator.
We have the narrator just going, sugar, spice, and everything nice. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girl.
You missed the part where everything nice looks like a pile of Yoplait yogurt with like pieces in it.
Or Beanie Babies, kind of like just like tossing like plushies.
Or the insides of Beanie Babies. That's totally what it is. It's a mixture of Yoplait.
Rainbows. Somebody ground up like the Lucky Charms unicorn, the Trix rabbit, and just like churned it out and just made it kibbles and bits.
That's totally what it is.
Oh my god.
Kit and Caboodles is what they call that cereal.
Kit and Caboodles. Yeah. That was a like an 80s or a 90s.
Yeah. Hey, I still have my caboodle.
Yeah, no,
ladies accessory thing that they had.
I used to use it when I was a ballerina. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a caboodle all throughout college. Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, respect.
Yeah.
I still got my caboodle.
That much
still got my caboodle.
It was my stage makeup kit.
There you go. There you go.
Pink swivel caboodle.
Yes.
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 I gotta go find that.
So, we have all these things, and obviously we have the added ingredient to the concoction, which is chemical X, which exactly creates this explosion, and thus the Powerpuff Girls are born. And so, using their ultra superpowers, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup have dedicated their lives to fighting crime and the forces of evil.
Evil.
Bum, bum, ba-da-na-na-na.
I will say that little like riff, that little like ba 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 ba, I think will always be known like in my mind. Like the second I hear it, I'm just like, I can name that tune in one note.
Yeah, basically.
Yep. It's Powerpuff Girls.
Yep. Exactly. No, it's so good.
So how does this fit into your theme song thesis that you have?
Well, I think that this kind of describes everything that you need to know going into the show. It sets the tone. It gives you their origin story in almost the most succinct possible way. Yeah. And it's beautifully designed. Like I think everything, not even just the content of the theme song, but the aesthetic of watching this intro is something that I will always remember, that I always love watching. And like you said, it's coupled by the narration, the aesthetic, and then the music. And so this is really like a triple threat. Yeah. This is a Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, Burger King, like all in one.
It is.
Like it's fantastic.
Well, yeah, and the origin story too, like the fact that every time, like Captain America, the first movie takes like an hour to get to this point. They do it in 30 seconds.
Yes.
Like it's every time you get the little refresher.
Well, it's nice because you do get the refresher, and then you don't have to worry about going back and going through this origin story. They've accepted it. They know where and what they are. They understand that, and they've come to terms with it.
Yeah.
And so I know that I believe at some points they kind of question some of the things that they have that are going on, or at least maybe some of the female influences and relationships that are in their life, or that of Professor Utonium, as we see in the first episode.
Oh, okay.
So it's interesting to sort of see that they kind of completely understand where they are in the world and what their purpose and their utility is. And you have to realize that they are young. They are young, very young women.
Yeah.
Kindergarten age. That's like 5, 6.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if you want to get really dark about it, you take a step back, and it's like, these children literally from like day one this is our job and duty. This is what we do. We save people. We get beat up violently. Horribly.
And frequently,
yes. Like horrible violence enacted on them by grown adults, I might add, and monkeys.
My symbionts.
But no, there's actually very little. I mean, it's uncomplicated, it's straightforward, and there's actually relatively literal question. I mean, they revisit the chemical X idea time and time again, and that comes back and revisits the storyline. But there's actually very little in terms of them actually questioning their purpose. They just kind of go.
They just accept it.
Yeah.
Which is great because you can live in the world that they've created for them without too many questions. And so that's what's so entertaining and endearing about this show, just in general, is that you have these 3 lovely women who are just like, oh no, we fly around, shoot stuff out of our eyes, and punch people in the face all the time, and you're just like, I'm on board. I'm cool with it.
I'm here for this.
Cool. Good. Go. So let's actually start talking a little bit about some of these characters. So we've mentioned Blossom.
Yeah.
So I know that you mentioned about her color.
Yeah.
Which was
pink.
She's pink.
She's pink.
But she also has red hair.
She does have red hair.
She and Ariel are the only 2 redheads in all of creation that have managed to pull off pink. I'm just going to say.
Oh, interesting.
Pretty much.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Can you think of any others?
Well, so I mean, no, Annie pulls off red, which is like red on red, which
Fashion police.
Well, I mean, we made
little orphan girl. We gotta stop you right there.
A few years ago.
Back to the gutter with you.
Oh God.
Oh no.
I'm trying to think of other like. I Love Lucy was in Black.
I don't know if
right?
Lucille Ball.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, no, you're right. Maybe you're right.
You're welcome.
It's funny because Blossom was my second favorite, because Buttercup was my number 1.
Yep.
But really because I closely identified with with Blossom as a long-haired, red auburn-haired child, I was like, oh, that's me. But she was too smart for me. I mean, I grew up feeling like a complete dum-dum, so I was always like, oh, Blossom's really smart. But I was way more the impulsive Buttercup. That was what I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See,
you sound so heartbroken by that.
No. It's just,
all right. Don't feel bad.
No, because
it's
because it's one of those moments where it's just like, you realize in anybody's coming of age, especially women, you realize at that point how important confidence is. Mm-hmm. And the fact that like you got a little bit shook kind of growing up, like that's challenging. That's hard.
There's actually an episode too where Blossom has her leadership and her intelligence challenged. Like her leadership is challenged, and so she loses her intelligence. It's been ages since I've seen it, so I can't remember what happens, but it's painful. And see, that's why I love Blossom, because she was so smart and because she was the leader. And I have a thing for, alpha females. I know you're giving me. I see that look of like, what?
And I think Blossom was actually my favorite, just because she's a redhead. I just have a thing for. I just have a thing for redheads. I just have a thing for redheads.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen,
being a redhead myself.
What? It got sexy.
Mm-hmm. Being a redhead
this is happening.
Who we dressed in orange once for a show, so I guess I'm really not the fashion police.
Even worse choices than
I know.
So she had laser vision, and then later on, and then you find out later on that she also has ice breath too. Yeah. Which is interesting. So, and she acts as the de facto leader of the group, as we had mentioned.
Yep.
Sort of to kind of round out. I don't want to say the confident portion, but I will say the vulnerable portion.
Are we not talking about voice cast?
Oh no. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's talk about.
No.
Let's talk about.
Let's get into Bubbles.
Let's get into it. We have Kathy.
Kathy Cavadini.
Kathy Cavadini.
Who is most notably known,
also my queen,
as the voice of Tanya Maskovitz.
Yep. So if you've ever watched any of the Fievel or American Tail,
which are the bomb,
which are fantastic, she was a notable voice from that. So she is fantastic.
I'll hail her.
So I wanna also talk about the other voice actor for Bubbles.
Yes.
So Bubbles sort of is the vulnerable portion of this trio.
I would say
she's a sugar. Possibly, if we might say.
I feel like I started as a child as a Buttercup, and then I grew up into a Bubbles, which makes no sense. Which makes total sense.
Makes total sense.
Because Bubbles is, for so many, I mean, she's a sweetheart. She's very innocent and very, very childlike. But the episodes that she has where she kicks butt, like she straight up will like murder you.
She murders me.
Yeah,
like but she does it in such a way where she's like, tee.
Yeah, she's kind of like River Tam like.
Oh
oddly.
yeah.
Like she's all like, oh, I'm adorable and kind of what's going on, and then a mess of death.
That was the best.
Oh my god, her in that first episode, puppy.
Oh, that crushed me.
So cute.
My heart grew like 3 sizes too big.
Yeah.
I had to be resuscitated.
Oh god.
It was so cute. Loved that. So we had Bubbles, who is voiced by Tara Strong. So if you are unfamiliar with Tara Strong, if you have ever seen anything from the DC animated universe, ever, or if you've ever played any of the Batman Arkham franchise of video games, she is Harley Quinn. Mm-hmm. She is constantly Harley Quinn, and she is perfect.
She's flawless.
She's so good.
Oh, she even plays Harley Quinn live action in an episode of Arrow.
That's
Are you kidding?
Mm-hmm. As someone who's not a fan of Arrow, but discovered this, I was like, that's pretty fucking rad. Because rarely,
as somebody who is a fan of Arrow, having seen her in it, still wonderful.
Well, it's like it's crap. In the recent Avengers movie,
Age of Ultron.
Yes. There's the voice actor for who becomes I'm being really not specific.
So Jarvis, who was
Paul Bettany.
Yeah, Paul Bettany, who was the voice of Jarvis, he was the AI inside of Tony Stark's Iron Man suit who then becomes the actor who plays Vision.
But so rarely do voice actors then get to like materialize as that person. So I think that's just really super
that's like possibly the only 2 times I can remember in like recorded history that I know. I'm sure there are more. But
I'd like to know more.
I would too.
Listeners, tell us more.
So, yes, listeners. So phone in now. It's. I mean, and she's also obviously famously she's Twilight Sparkle on My Little Pony the reboot, which I unapologetically love. Suck it, world.
I don't think anybody listening to this is just like, My Little Ponies,
all right.
no!
It was like a bunch of people just clicked off like, I'm done with this. No, she's also Raven on Teen Titans, is she not?
I believe so,
I believe she is.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, she's amazing. All hail Her Majesty.
So along with Bubbles, I think my favorite skill from the Powerpuff Girls that is what Bubbles has, which is her ability to talk to animals, which I love. So there are multiple scenes where you will see her communicating with cats and squirrels and other animals, and it is just adorable. Yeah. I love those moments. Those are very heartwarming moments when you see them happen.
Yeah,
they're pretty great.
Bubbles is a Disney princess.
She is the Disney princess.
She's fantastic. I like that I said that Blossom is my favorite, and then I gush over the fact that I like Bubbles this much.
You can't really pick one.
No, yeah. I mean, but I do love. Blossom. I do love Blossom, but yeah, Bubbles is cool too.
Yeah.
I can't pick. I'm torn.
I can pick actually.
And then and then rounding out the final person in this trio, we have Buttercup.
Yes.
Who, it seems like we have somebody who might be their favorite person.
Maybe Melanie.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about Buttercup, Melanie?
Buttercup is the bomb and has one of the most work with a W-E-R-K voice actresses, which is E.G. Daly, also known as Elizabeth Daly. Mm-hmm. E.G. Daly is most notably known as the voice of Tommy Pickles.
Yes.
Right?
From Rugrats.
And fascinatingly enough is like during this time period, I mean, like when Powerpuff Girls was big, was about the same time that Rugrats was like really gaining traction and was like in their multiple season, like 3 or 4 or whatever.
Right.
And I'm just like, how the F did you do like main characters in both of these? I cannot.
She must not have slept for years.
I mean, seriously. So she's that, she's also Babe. From Babe Pig in the City.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
I just remembered. I think, real quick too, I think that Tara is also the voice of Dill Pickles. I could be wrong, but I think she is. I think she is.
I'm going to go back and look
so
that up.
Two of the Powerpuff Girls were also in Rugrats.
If it's not, let's add it to Wikipedia.
Let's we're going to make it true, even if it's not.
But no, E.G. Daly has just been so busy. And all of the women who have voiced any of the Powerpuff Girls at one point or other have been on Ben 10, which is a cartoon I know nothing about. But I was just like, well, that's kind of interesting. But
so when we do a Ben 10 episode, you will be on it.
I will be on it because I will know there. Zero.
I want to know about Ben 10.
Great.
So we have 2 additional supporting characters.
Yeah.
That we should probably talk about. We have the mayor.
Are we done with Buttercup and the fact that she's totally awesome?
Oh no!
I was like, you're skipping.
No, you hit like you. I'm sorry. I misread that. I misread the eye contact.
She's the toughest fighter.
You know what? I misinterpreted a pause as a let's move on. So, but I think the pause was let's double down. Let's double down.
She's the toughest fighter, as Angie pointed out. She is. Like, it's so funny when you see her in posters and stuff. She's got the frowny face on. Like the other 2, like Blossom and Bubbles are like, hee, and she's like, I'm ready to kick some butt.
Well, she always has, Blossom and Bubbles always have the upturned
That's what I mean.
Smile. And Buttercup always has the downturned, upside down.
That's because she's doing the Charlize Theron thing where she's just thinking murder in her brain.
Yeah, she's murder and then you walk. Yes.
That's exactly.
All hail Her Majesty, Imperator Furiosa.
Indeed.
Thank you.
God.
Indeed.
Yes.
But I think Buttercup grows up to become Imperator.
Right?
Ooh, this show got real dark real quick.
That's what I.
What did I do? I laughed too loud. I broke it.
Now everything's cool.
Her Majesty, Majesty.
We will
the Imperator.
edit out the no later.
We're cool.
We cool.
3, 2, 1. So Her Majesty Buttercup the Imperiosa, Imperiosa. I just melded everything together. She is just the butt kicker. It's funny because I think this is the conversation about like women and like being aggressive or being angry or having too much force. And I think that like her as balanced out as like being fiercely loving of her sisters, like that's what's really awesome about Buttercup. I won't say she doesn't make wrong choices sometimes, because she does.
Totally. She has a whole episode in which she like commits essentially violent abuse of people to get their teeth so she can like exchange them. Yeah,
right.
exchange for money, right? Yeah. But she's also, from what I recall, she also has like crushes on characters.
She does. There's a whole episode about how she falls in love with the head of a different gang.
Yeah, the Gangrene Gang.
Gangrene Gang.
Yeah.
And there's some
a tortured love story.
There's some hot
he's an
villains.
asshole, so.
Yeah, he's a total asshole.
He's a total dick.
But that's again why I identified with her. I made some bad boy decisions.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I was just like, that's me. Yep. All hail. That's my okay. So now we can move on.
Okay, all right. So we have 2 supporting characters to these 3 main characters that we have. So we have the mayor, which we talked about a little bit, and also Professor Utonium that we've talked about a little bit. Now,
great dad.
He's such a good
great dad.
He's a fun dad.
He's skeptical professor, great dad.
Great dad, best dad.
Yeah, I'm gonna say right out the gate, I don't know about his practices and how I don't know if OSHA would approve of how he operates and works in that lab.
I do not believe he practices scientific rigor.
No, we're just gonna blaze over it.
Like bad hazardous waste. Meh. Fuck that.
I also feel like he's the kind of guy that you're just like, so what do you do? And he's like, I'm a scientist. And you're like, well, what kind of science? He's like, science.
No, it's like Barney sits. It's like, what do you do? Please.
Yeah, right.
That's him. Yeah.
Just sums it all up.
Yeah. But it's also, how many other single dad figures do you remember seeing on TV as a kid growing up? I mean, like Bob Saget from Full House was the only one I remember.
My 2 dads.
I did not watch that.
The Nick at Night show.
I'm this many, Sean. So.
Okay. Fair enough. I just watch a lot of TV Land late at night.
There you go.
So
yeah, but I don't remember that much. And it was really it was interesting.
And another parallel, Little Mermaid. Her dad.
I guess okay, never mind. If we go into Disney,
we're not really going into
shit.
But I was it was on the brain.
Okay.
You asked for single
No,
dads.
it's still valid.
But he's like actually good dad, as opposed to like Bareese or like Triton, who are all like,
I guess so.
Improper. Yeah, no, he cares. He's loving. He's there.
He's understanding. You know, he's got wants and needs that we see in the first episode. It was that episode quickly devolved into Powerpuff Girls After Dark, like
After Hours.
Yeah, that really it got sexy pretty quickly. I was just like, ooh, yeah.
So, yeah, you got a character called Sedusa out of the gate, running around in high heels, a bodice, and like thigh highs.
One date and she's already moved in.
Right? Yeah. Professor doesn't mess around.
Professor's looking to smash. Look, I get it.
Yeah. Either that, or you can only imagine what he's working with. So.
Oh man.
Oh,
that access to chemical X.
Exactly. Yep. Get a little bit of exposure to that chemical.
Yeah, baby.
So we've got
that's how the professor actually affords their household income. That's how he provides for things, he sells them on like RedTube.
No one can see this, but we just both made the most horrified faces ever.
Chemical X, actually, little known fact, actually ended up becoming Viagra.
I'm gonna take
it's
that.
a secret ingredient.
Superpowers. So all you men out there over the age of 60, if you want to become superheroes.
Anybody with ED, get on this. Oh my God. All right. So we are. So we have also the mayor, and we described him as being very childlike, and so we are.
Blossom.
We're getting to the point where we're running a little bit short on time. So I wanted to kind of get into some of these episodes, and so one of the things I wanted to do really quick is I just sort of wanted to frame a question to think about while we're kind of talking at a high level about some of these episodes. And I wanted to ask the both of you, what kind of message is this show sending to women? Mm-hmm. What kind of show is it giving to the both of you as you are young ladies and you are watching this show? Because this show is fantastic in terms of preaching confidence to women, where they have these amazing opportunities where they just kick butt. They can be a daddy's girl, doesn't matter, kick butt. They can fall into any other female stereotype, but at the end of the day, they are still victorious and they are kicking ass, which is awesome to see. And also one of the reasons that I fell in love with this show in the first place. But they kick butt figuratively, but also literally. And so Powerpuff Girls uses a lot of violence in order to solve problems. And so I'm kind of curious, as we talk about some of these episodes, or specifically what is your favorite episode. We watched the first 3 episodes, which is broken into 2, each episode is broken into 2 parts, so 2 vignettes in each. And so we had kind of talked about, I'll throw this over to Mel. I know you had mentioned one of your favorite episodes of the ones that we watched was Insect Inside.
Roach Coach.
Roach Coach.
Get that Roach Coach.
If that had thing had been live action, it would have been such a good horror movie.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah, I love Roach Coach.
Really?
So, more fun facts. As a child, I grew up in an apartment complex that was located on like the edges of a national park reserve. So it was like I looked out my window and it was just like forest. So woodland nymph, not too far off. I swear to God, as a child, I was like, I've got pointy ears. I'm a wood nymph. So that was real in my lifetime. But so we had a lot of insect issues all the time. Like, and this is gonna gross everybody out. Like. And infestations and termites. We had lots of termites all the time. Yeah. There was a time that we had like a ladybug problem that started out really cute. And then like I came home
As they always do.
And then like I came home from the doctor's office one time and my bedspread was ladybug printed. Meaning they were literally covering every inch of my bedspread.
Fun fact, it was not ladybug printed when
originally.
She left for the doctor.
No, it was not. And then.
So like, oh my God, I already forgot the name of the episode. The roach episode.
Oh,
Insect Inside was like a beautiful, like returning to that time when I was like, oh, I remember what it was like when I didn't give a fuck about bugs.
You related on a personal level.
On a personal level. And I, there's so much interesting about the fact that they, gonna pause for that. For the peeing in the corner.
Sorry, I had to take a leak.
Yeah. There's an interesting thing about this, which is like you watch the episode and so the episode begins with Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup are like flying around the house, and Bubbles is flipping out because there's a little cockroach that's like running around the walls. Also, the walls in their house are infinite. Like they're flying at like top light speed around this house, and it goes on for like a good minute. Yeah. And I'm like, how long are your hallways? But anyway, so they're like yelling, and Buttercup is trying to like smash the shit out of this bug. Hence, because I was the bug smasher as a kid. And the whole thing comes around with the professor is like, girls, you can't crush bugs because you've got to think about like you got to respect who they are on the inside, right? And then
the bug betrays them.
Flash forward to that single bug goes back and reports back to the villain of this episode, which is a crotchety, butt crack bearing, like old
soggy,
Jewish,
slimy. Looks
soggy.
Like sorry, and I say this loving his career. It looks like Danny DeVito on his worst possible day.
Oh, yes. He actually reminded me of if you ever watched Ren and Stimpy. There was a character named George Liquor who was kind of a short, squat, and angry person, and it sort of filled some of this character to a T.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But Roach Coach.
But so you find out this villain's name is Roach Coach, and he commands an army of roaches, and I'm just like, how hypocritical for all of these roaches to be following a man, like a human man who's just like what does he say? Not double peds, but like. Bye you stinky bipeds, blah 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 blah, or whatever, and it's just it's so weird. And so the whole idea is that the girls are never gonna squish you, so you can just take over Townsville, and it is that you're right, Angie, is the most like horrifying. Like bugs coming, they're singing a song about hot dogs, everything's normal,
that
and then
so...
they're singing.
And then the
singing for
bugs
fuck's sake.
come out of the hot dog and the guy's
No,
mouth.
not just the hot dog. Yeah, he bites the hot dog and it comes out of his mouth. The roaches swarm all over his face.
Yup.
And little Angie is under the couch screaming, which is not a good place to be because that's where the bugs are. So.
Yeah. But this episode, I mean, is also a perfect example of the style of these shows where they're so clever about like the puns and the use of visuals because they do so much imagery of like, the roach coats look out the window and he's like talking about the bipeds below and they all look like ants.
Yeah.
They're all like super tiny and look like ants.
And the glass jar to defeat them.
And the glass jar to defeat them is really
clever.
fascinating. So I was looking at a sketch of the butt crack and I wrote deck crack.
Well, the other thing that interests me about this is the clear message is like, kids, sorry, no kids, ignore what mommy and daddy said about saving the spiders. Kill everything.
Yeah, kill everything.
We are meant to be masters of the earth.
Well, and that's reinforced by the fact that at the very end of the episode, Professor Utonium, is it a spider?
Yeah.
I believe he kills a spider, and then they're just like, and the girls look at him and they're like, Professor, and he's like, ugh, spiders are icky. And they're like,
Right.
and that's the end of the episode.
Right.
Yeah.
This reminds me, I was telling, as we were talking earlier, that episode of the children's TV show down in Australia that was all about spiders are our friends. And they had to cut it because Australia. And like spiders will kill you in Australia.
Yeah.
So literally that episode cannot play on television. This is that episode except unapologetically like, no, fuck bugs.
And as an avid bug killer, I will say that there are some bugs that I won't kill. Like, I won't kill a daddy long legs. Ever.
Okay.
Like a daddy long leg spider where they have like the tiny bodies.
They're cute.
And they're cute. You just pick those motherfuckers up by their legs and just like fling them out. They're so harmless and they don't do shit. They just sort of like look really terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's just so sad when you kill them because then their little legs go.
Yeah, no. Don't kill
So there's like that, I won't kill a daddy long legs, but like, fuck yeah, I'll kill any beetle. Do not kill stink bugs because that's just a poor choice, and that's all I have to say about that.
It gets worse. It gets worse if you kill them.
Yeah.
Well, so I wanted to turn this over to Angie, and I know that you had mentioned that one episode you liked out of this that we watched was Monkey See, Monkey Do, or Doggy
the very
Doo.
first one.
But we are running a little short, and so I wanted to get into an episode that you had thrown out to Melanie and I that we had both ended up watching. It was the Beat-Alls. And so the Beat-Alls was a very heavily pop culture infused episode that sort of solidified this show's genius in terms of being able to incorporate these pop culture zeitgeist references into the show. And so I'd love to kind of get your opinion and sort of some of your favorite moments from that particular episode.
Oh, heavens. Oh, flawless. Well, and actually that's interesting because this episode, you said earlier, it's like one of the things that these, you said that these girls don't just like, they don't just kick butt, but they like figuratively, but they literally kick ass, and that's how they solve their problems. Actually, interestingly, I feel like a lot of times they rely a lot more on strategy than you would think. And this is a great example of like the whole thing is that, who is it? It's Mojo Jojo, Ham, Princess What's-Her-Face. I can never remember
I think her
whole
name is just
I think her
Princess.
name is
Princess.
Princess.
It's something else, but whatever. Maybe it is, or maybe you're right. Whatever. Princess. And Fuzzy Lumpkin all band together to like defeat the girls because they find together their powers can destroy them.
Right.
And the only way that they can stop these four villains, the Beat-Alls,
Right.
as they call themselves, so clever, is by removing a member of the band. With, the introduction of a fantastic, fantastic sort of, ploy with this new female chip called, what is it? I think it's Moko Yodo.
I think it was Moko Yoko.
Moko Yoko or Moko Yodo, yeah. Which is amazing.
It's so genius.
But yeah, so the point is that they break up the band, but they use strategy to do it. That's
Right.
the only way they can defeat these guys. But God, this episode, I think Wikipedia says it has like 65 Beatles references.
Now, it's a challenge for me
Unbelievable.
because I will confess I am not really a Beatles fan.
Oof.
Now, there are a lot of references that I got in the episode, and there were some that, like, even as I'm watching it, I'm just kind of like, you know what? I bet that is a reference. I bet that is like I feel like a dum-dum because I don't.
That awkward piece of dialogue is clearly a reference to something.
Well, the part where they were like paperback writer, I was like, it's probably a Beatles reference.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
they did
like
not.
You know that one.
I do.
And they
know
also
that
didn't say paperback
They did not. Everything I've said has been a lie. Thank you for calling me on my ruse. Melanie, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
He's never watched an episode of Powerpuff Girls in his life.
But yeah, I mean, there were so many references. You said 60.
65, I think, was what I saw. It was some ridiculous amount. I think my favorite one is the one at the very, very end, too, where they're like taking Mojo Jojo to jail. And he's like, but you took my love away. And Blossom's like, yeah, well, the love you take is equal to the love you... Who even cares? It was by some dumb band anyway.
Yeah,
it's like,
so good.
Number one, hilarious. Number two, of course you can't say all the love you make on a children's TV show. That is crossing the line.
There were definitely moments when I was watching it where there were Beatles references that even I understood, where I was like, how did they get the rights to this? Like, how did they not get sued?
Right? That's $1 million at least.
Yeah, seriously.
What is it for the Beatles? It's like $1 billion, maybe? I don't know. It's some ridiculous amount. It's
crazy.
Doesn't the Michael Jackson estate own Beatles?
He did, but I believe they sold it.
Yeah.
They sold it already?
For
That's
some
so
ridiculous
weird.
amount of money.
Yeah.
But
it's so funny.
Because that's why Apple now has it available.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But and
this has also been a lie by Sean Paul Ellis.
when will it end?
Never.
It's not even just verbal, but it's like that cop is Sergeant Pepper.
Right?
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
The press was like, listen, girls, Mojo was a man who thought he was a loner.
Oh my god.
What?
It's
You can't say that. It works so well. It works too well. You can't do that.
I love it.
Oh gosh, there was so much in that episode where it's one of those rare moments where I feel like I have to go back and watch it again, because I want to say maybe 50% of them fell through the cracks for me, and to really be able to appreciate that episode, it warrants at least a second viewing to be able to take everything in.
Oh god, yeah. Oh heavens, yeah.
So.
You need multiple experiences to fully absorb its full, ugh.
So, I mean, to think about this, so as you mentioned, Angie, so we have 4 villains who kind of do a team up and then fight against them, which was always funny because it was always the same sequence of events. It was always Mojo Jojo shooting a laser, him shooting a vocal beam at them, Princess shooting what looked like a lava ray gun at them, and then Fuzzy Lumpkins capped it off by just throwing a boulder onto them.
And I'm torn because I'm fairly confident that Fuzzy's meant to be Ringo, and obviously Mojo's meant to be John, obviously John Lennon, and I don't know whether Princess or him is. I don't know which of those is Paul or George, and it bothers me profoundly.
Well, I will say my favorite part, I think, in the whole episode that is non-Beatles related is the moment where you have Mojo Jojo, you have him and Princess all shooting, and then there's this weird double take by Fuzzy Lumpkins holding the boulder, where he kind of does a clowning take, where he's he looks at the girls, he looks at the boulder, he looks at the girls, looks at the boulder, looks at the girls, and then is throws the boulder. He's just oh, he did it. I think some of those.
That's why they're a rock band.
Yeah. No, because they're a band, and Fuzzy Lumpkin, he has the rocket. Never mind.
Those moments just prepare you so well, because it leads the audience, or it leads the viewer, to exactly what the intended outcome is going to be. Yeah. And then all you have to do is just sort of, you see it coming, you just relax and wait for it to actually happen.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
it
did what they said they were gonna do.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that Powerpuff Girls was so great at doing throughout, is bringing in, frankly, adult themes. It's in sometimes more or less clever ways. There's one episode really famously where they joke there's the girls have a friend, and they're joking. The professor's the girls, they were a surprise. They were an unplanned experiment. They were surprised, and the girl's like, that's okay, professor. My parents say that I was a surprise too.
Oh god!
Did you just get away with that? What? Yeah. So it's fabulous.
It's innocent enough,
right?
Yeah.
It's but it managed to straddle the line between appealing to children and having adult context as well. And I think no episode did that better than the Beatles.
Yeah.
Just high quality references, just fantastic parodying.
I think that was in season 2 or 3.
I think it was 3, but yeah.
I think it was 3. So yeah, if you're thankfully all of the episodes of the Powerpuff Girls 6 seasons are available on Netflix
for now. Well, I feel like they're gonna do the thing where, like, if the reboot is coming up, they're going to like pull the episodes from Netflix so that people are watching.
So now's the time to marathon.
Yeah,
listeners.
now's the time to get into it.
To our viewing audience.
So I will say that out of all of these episodes, I will say that very quickly, my favorite that we probably watched was Monkey See, Doggy Doo, which was the original pilot that had aired. It wasn't the pilot, but it was the first episode that aired on Cartoon Network. And I think we've already hinted at the reason why it was my favorite is exactly that, is because
all the puppies and dog fighting too.
Mojo Jojo steals an Anubis jewel, which turns everybody into a dog. And so everybody becomes a cute puppy version of themselves, from the mayor to a pipe-smoking version of Professor Utonium to the girls. Bow wow. That was so good. And I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm just like, Mojo Jojo. He's saying Mojo Jojo. Just
come on, girls.
Here. Come on, girls.
You can do
this. Like, you're so excited for them. So... but it was just the instant moment where all these puppies appear, and then just Bubbles just going, puppies!
Yes!
And it is so consistently adorable. And I think they hit 3 beats with it. And it was just, every time it was reinforced, I was just like, this is what I want to see.
And they spend like this beautiful amount of time on the first time. It's the first time when the mayor turns into a puppy, and they do this thing where like, the mayor, like, she's scratching the mayor's belly as a puppy, and then it's just like
so long,
slow moment of just like, okay, I gotta go now, and then like slowing down her scratching, and then she just looks really sadly at the puppy, and the puppy's like, don't go. Yeah, she's like, I gotta
which
go.
any person who's ever rubbed a dog's belly knows that moment.
When
they have to leave, and the dog looks at them like, why don't you love me?
Don't leave.
No.
Don't leave right now.
Yeah,
just keep scratching.
Yeah.
No, please.
Oh my god.
I have so many questions about this episode. I have so many questions.
Okay, well let's get into one of them.
One. Pick your
What's
favorite.
your biggest question that you have about this episode?
Dogs can't steal things.
They can if they're mind controlled by a monkey.
Dogs cannot steal things.
Are you telling me the dogs can't drive a
I'm
car?
Sorry.
Dogs can't
Melanie, we saw very clearly and very well that they can.
They can't steal things.
This is a wasted question.
So okay. So let's put you in the mind of Mojo Jojo at this moment. So you're a supervillain.
Okay.
You're a genius.
That's not
Got it.
Too much a stretch.
You're thinking, I want to steal a bunch of stuff. How am I going to, but I can't do it by myself. I don't want to do it I'm lazy. I'm a supervillain. I'm going to hatch a harebrained plan. You're
delegating. You're delegating.
Would you turn them into platypi or something?
Well, no. So you're like, I need to brainwash people. I need to get people to do stuff for me. All right, I know. Instead of just brainwashing them, I'm going to turn them into dogs first. And then I'm going to brainwash them? Like, that just seems like,
who's gonna beat up a puppy that's stealing like a bag of cash?
But they're evil.
Bingo.
They're evil puppies.
No, they're not. At the same time, are you gonna punch a puppy in the face?
Yeah.
Stealing cash.
Oh my God.
Whoa! Time out.
I mean,
this is a Saturday morning cartoon.
Have we learned nothing?
I don't particularly like dogs, which probably is going to make everybody click away for a moment.
And they're done.
If
we lost our audience
if people want to just turn this off or throw their phone into a river.
And dogs wearing Hawaiian shirts and driving cars that say dogged at the back.
That's hilarious.
That was fantastic.
It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense.
How dare you?
Why don't you just
brainwash
brainwash people? It's
what
such an
gives
easy.
You the right.
I'm about to get into very deep and heavy meditation right now, because, just to suppress the anger that I'm feeling.
I mean, but it's also Melanie. You must understand. It's Mojo Jojo. In terms of supervillains on the show, it's Mojo Jojo.
So then
of all of them, he's the one that he inadvertently causes the creation of the Powerpuff Girls at one point. He's amazingly inept.
I don't understand. It just seems like a long way to get to your grandmother's house. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, you remember that later on, too, there's the sequel episode to that episode, which is Monkey See, Doggy 2, where he does the exact same thing, except this time he doesn't turn the girls into he doesn't turn the Powerpuff Girls into dogs, and explains to them what went wrong with his plan before. And then he ends it, it's just like, now, girls, what you're going to do? And they're like, we're gonna kick your butt. Like, that's literally how it ends. They just beat him up.
That actually comes to a good point, Angie. So I will say, now that we've had a chance to talk about these sort of with this question of what kind of a message is this sending women who are watching this. Any final thoughts or any ideas particularly about this question?
I mean, I think we already hit it on the head. It's like there's so much about in media. Oh God, gonna talk about relevant shit.
Yeah.
There's so much in media about women can only be one thing in TV shows and movies. Like, they can only be smarter, they can only be cuter, they can only be beautiful, but they can't be a combo. There's no such thing as like...
I feel like you are evidence of the contrary all over the place, so...
Yeah, like there's so much of that everywhere else. And it's...
What's up?
And... What?
Nothing, continue.
She paid you a compliment and you just glossed
I
over
know.
it.
You were just being so aware of that shit. You were like, I know.
And then
You were seriously like, this is my thesis. And Angie's like, you're a very cute, attractive, and smart woman. And you're just like, and so here's my thesis, part 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing the lady thing, which is saying, I'm so sorry, but thank you.
You just clothesline me like a wimpy man in like a romantic movie. Like, you are the like kick-ass female who was too good for me.
I'm sorry, but I love you.
Continue with your thesis.
So,
Yes.
and so women can't be all those things, but Angie and I are. So deal with it. And,
I agree.
And thank you. And so the Powerpuff Girls represent the three facets of pretty much any woman, which is like there is like a ferocity, there's an intelligence, and there's a beauty, and then there's like the vulnerability and like that like innocence and love and and all that stuff. And
I'll say that exists in any person, but the qualities we honor in women in terms of like vulnerability and she's adorable, like, have to be paired with what you're saying, the ferocity and the intelligence.
Yeah,
that's there.
So they represent for me like all of the facets. Like the three of them are like every sort of part of the spectrum. And the fact that just I'm not even gonna say despite, like, and because of all of those things, they kick total ass and make piles of bad guys.
Yes,
that they just destroy and eat the hearts out of.
No.
And then they can also squeal about puppies.
Exactly.
No, I think that's a great way to put it. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Melanie. Angie, I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
No. I mean, yeah, I feel like that's what it was for me with this show. It's a question of it comes back to the question of what it means to be like, what it means to have a three-dimensional like female character, which is, something that I see a lot, in my media. It's being questioned right now. It's like, what is it that makes an interesting and dynamic character? And I mean, obviously I'm a huge fan of, I'm going to bring it in because I love it so much, Mad Max Fury Road, because that brought in so many different ideas of what it means to be a woman. And I see it here in the show. It is so perfectly exemplified, but like Blossom, Bubbles, Buttercup, each of them are different, like, different facets. And obviously womanhood is not limited to that, but it's three very different facets of what it means to be that. And I hear already, across the land, the dude bros whining, but what about us? But I mean, it's an interesting examination in when we are sort of in this, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna bring it in. I can't help it. Fourth wave of feminism. Yes, boom! I said it.
Yeah.
But when we're in this, I feel like we're in this fascinating time where, with the internet so prevalent, there's this like ability to share and like understand each other's experiences in ways that have never existed before. So I know about, people that I've never once in a million years been able to experience otherwise. And I feel like this show ties into that because it's this idea of like setting a precedent of like unapologetically, like, they're young girls, they are in kindergarten, they are children. They're freaking children who are saving the world on a daily basis, and just how much that is unapologetically just their lives. There was no explanation. There's no but then there's also this male figure or whatever, or there's this adult female figure protecting them, or blah 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 or whatever. They're these kids like as Melanie said, kicking ass.
Yeah.
And that's it was so much to me as a child that meant so much to me to just see this and identify and just see girls that I could be yeah, I want to be like that.
That's awesome.
So
that's really cool. So then I have to ask the question, Angie, would you recommend this show?
Oh, heavens, yes.
Oh, because I was going to say based off of that response.
I guess.
Of course.
It's okay.
Melanie, would you recommend Powerpuff Girls?
Absolutely.
Oh my God, yes. Thank you.
Sean, would you recommend this show?
Well, thank you. I absolutely would for all the reasons. I don't think I could have said that better in terms of being able to answer the question. So thank you both very much.
You're
so
welcome.
I appreciated having both of you on this show. So I wanted to kind of get a chance to talk about some of the things that we have that are coming up in the future, some of the endeavors that we have that are going on. Yeah. So I wanted to ask Angie, so where can we find you online?
Oh, heavens. You can find me online at angelaperko.weebly.com, I believe, for right now. Soon it will be angelakperko.com because I'm been lazy and I need to update my website. So you can find me online there. You can find me by Facebook. My Twitter handle is La Shield Maiden if you want to find me there, because I'm a nerd and that's okay.
Can you I'm so curious because I've always been
it's because I like French, so La, and Shield Maiden because I'm a huge Tolkien nerd.
That's it. That's okay.
That's
rad.
That's perfect.
That's rad.
That's literally
I didn't know if it was LA and LA stood for something specific.
Yes, it's my aspiring desire to go to Los Angeles and just literally slaughter everyone there. Kitty, love you, LA. So yes. Also, do I say where you can find me in person now, or where?
Oh yeah, I would love to know. I know that you have some projects that are coming up. I know that we are in the middle of July when this is coming out. So I know that you are in the midst of the Capitol Fringe Festival here in DC.
Yes, I am.
So I'd love to learn more about the show that you're working on right now. Yes.
Well, I am producing for my company, New Sass Productions. We are producing The Paper Game, directed by Vernana Fox and by Julia Holloman. And that is going to be playing until July 5th. July 5th. It's past July 5th. No, it's July 25th. So we've got 5 performances. We open tomorrow night. It's a lovely show. It's all actually about it's a satirical take against of people fighting against the bureaucratic system. It's funny. It's wonderful. It moves you. It's beautiful. I love it dearly. So I produced that, and then I'm also in Cold as Death with Guillotine Theater, which is all about necrophilia and violence, and I wear a corset in it, and it's great.
But that's how I feel like is you at your best, though, is wearing a corset, being in violent shows.
Being in vaguely BDSM-y, violence. Yes, that's me at my apex.
The last time I saw Angie in person, she looked like a murderous, vignette doll, what's that called? You know what I mean?
A murder bot?
You were like a murder doll, weren't you? And you were had your pigtails in, and you would blood and stuff, and it was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
A fembot from the Austin Powers movie?
Yeah, that's just me on a Friday night. It's me covered in blood, wearing a schoolgirl skirt and pigtails. That's my average Friday.
That's
But yes, I'm all over the Capitol Fringe Festival.
And where can we find tickets for both of those shows?
Tickets can be found through the Capitol Fringe website, which I believe is capfringe.org.
Perfect.
Or you could go buy them at the Fringe headquarters, which is 1358 Florida Avenue Northeast.
Excellent. Great to hear. So please go check out Angie and support both of the shows that she's producing and is murderously involved in.
Yeah.
So great. So Melanie,
yeah.
Where can we find you online on the interwebs, and what are you up to these days?
You can always find me at Melanie Gwynn, which is of course Welsh.
Yeah, it is.
GWYNNE. And that's on Twitter and Instagram. Don't come find me on Facebook because it will be just full of other plugs for my life. It's so funny. My Facebook life has devolved into just here's what I'm doing professionally, which is whatever, and wedding pictures. So this summer, as Angie is also doing, I am supporting my peeps at Dog and Pony DC doing squares. which is so funnily related to the paper game, sort of.
Oddly.
It is a series of playground games. So it takes place on the playground at the Kendall Demonstration Elementary School on the Gallaudet University campus here in DC, and it is about power and privilege systems, which we explore through, say, Tag or Mother May I. Or I don't want to spoiler too many other games that we play, but it is deep and can get dark and is interesting and brings up a lot of really interesting conversations. So you can find information about that at capfringe.org or by going to #SquaresDPDC or visiting us at dougandboydc.com. And other than that, I'm sort of helping out on the Saturday Morning Cartoons social medias. So sometimes things that I put out there might be me, but you won't know. I'm not going to tell you.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
Guess correctly and win a special prize.
And I think those are all. So Sean, I know you've got some cool stuff coming up this
you
month
can find
as well.
me. Well, I do. Thank you. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sean Paul Ellis. I have shows that are going to be going on as a part of the Wit Attacks series. That's Washington Improv Theater Attacks.
Yeah.
That is going on during the entire month of July. So every Saturday night during the month of July at 9:30, you can find my group Knox performing a show that deals with the Kubler-Ross 5 Stages of Grief. So you can find tickets on witdc.org. It's a comedy. It's
about
a comedy
death and dying.
About stuff.
We're all just a bunch of flowers.
Yeah,
and
really.
daisies right now.
Bureaucracy, the system, death.
Yeah.
So you can find tickets on witdc.org. Again, that's every Saturday night at 9:30 throughout the month of July. If you are interested in finding out more about Saturday Morning Cartoons, you can find us at SaturdayMorningCartoons.com. That is morning with a U. You can tweet at us at MorningTunes. Again, morning with a U. You can also email us at SaturdayMorningCartoons@gmail.com. You can find out some of the stuff that I've been doing on our Tumblr account at SaturdayMorningCartoons.tumblr.com. If you are listening to us on iTunes or Stitcher, please feel free to rate and review us. We would love to hear from you. And we super appreciate it because it helps us out and it helps the show. So that's wonderful. I'm going to put, as a final thought, both of our guests on the spot and ask a quick question as we close and exit this. There are no wrong answers in this.
Only wrong questions.
If you were a Powerpuff Girl, if you were a 4th Powerpuff Girl, and you could do the following action of beating up somebody, as the Powerpuff Girls have splendidly done in this cartoon, who would you beat up, fictitious or living? Or non-living?
Do you want to go first, Andrew?
No, you go for it.
Oh, it's easy. I would beat the fuck up out of Donald Trump. Fuck that guy.
That was totally my answer. That was actually totally.
Sorry.
Yes. No, are you kidding me? Yes. Fuck that guy.
Fuck actually, that guy.
My other answer was sorry, our notorious RBG. I know you love him, but like Jet Scalia. What? No, actually not Scalia. It's Clarence Thomas. Like,
Clarence
Thomas. You need to stop.
Fuck, man.
You need to stop.
Oh,
so
these have been perfect.
Two.
These have been perfect answers.
Yep.
So thank you both so much, and thank you for listening to Saturday Morning Cartoons. See you later.
Mwah.